Welcome to the Craftsman Founder Podcast, hosted by Lucas Carlson. Every week, we talk to founders, entrepreneurs, and those who've made a craft out of creating companies and enterprises. Listen every week to get ideas for starting, promoting, and growing your business. There are no shortcuts, just good old-fashioned hard work and craft. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's interview.
Hello, this is Lucas Carlson from the Craftsman Founder Podcast. This week, I've got a super awesome guest for you, Josh Turner. Josh is an awesome guy who runs a thing called Linked Selling. And I've got him on the show to tell us about how to do LinkedIn right. He's been doing this as a service. He's been helping people get their LinkedIn strategy. Really famous people like Neil Patel, super well known. Neil's got some of the most awesome stuff on LinkedIn. And so now we're talking to somebody who's actually helped him do that. So I couldn't be more excited. And Josh is just coming out with a book very soon called Connect. And it's already, it's on pre-sale on Amazon, and it's already a #1 bestseller. So Josh, thank you so much for coming on. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Yeah, well, thank you for having me, Lucas. I've been excited for this. And my background, I started using LinkedIn in 2006, and I was member number 6 million and change. Now there's over 365 million members, so it was pretty early on, you know. And back then I was using LinkedIn for business development for the company I worked for. I was a CFO of a construction and manufacturing company here in St. Louis. And I was also using it just as kind of like an online Rolodex for business contacts, which is how most people use LinkedIn even to this day.
Yeah.
Fast forward to 2009, and that company, unfortunately, was forced to shut its doors. And I was then faced with a decision. Do I want to go work for somebody else, find another job, or go out on my own? And I'd really been itching to do my own thing for quite some time. I mean, I'd been trying different entrepreneurial ventures on, nights and weekends for years, and figured, you know what, now is as good a time as any in this terrible economy to give it a shot. And so I started a company called Gateway CFO Solutions, and I was working as a freelance or outsourced CFO for small businesses here in St. Louis. And LinkedIn was one of the ways that I grew that business. Fast forward to 2011, and I started getting noticed for the work I was doing on LinkedIn. And one of my clients said, "Hey, this stuff you're doing on LinkedIn looks pretty interesting. Do you think that would work for us?" And I helped them kind of develop a plan for how they could use LinkedIn. And they said, "Wow, this looks like it makes a lot of sense, but we have no clue how to actually do it. So why don't you just do it for us?" And I had never really been afraid to try new things. Some people would say that's a lack of focus, but I think when you're just kind of starting out, and at the time I was working as a freelance consultant out of my house, so I look at those times as times where you should try different things until you get something that really takes off. And that's what happened with linked selling. When I brought on that first client, I built the website for linkedselling.com thinking, hey, maybe there's some other businesses out there that need help with this. And it turned out to be the case. And our business has really exploded since then. We have clients all over the world, all sorts of industries. In 2012, we launched our training program, which is called Linked University. And since then, tens of thousands of businesses have been through our trainings. And we've built a pretty awesome company along the way, man. So that's kind of how we got to where we're at today.
That's super cool. So I think that most of the people listening probably have a LinkedIn profile but don't know what to do with it. What would be the very first thing you would suggest somebody, if they wanted to better utilize LinkedIn, what would be the first thing to do?
I think the thing they need to get clear on is, what is their goal for using it? Do they want to use it to develop business and to generate leads, which is the primary focus that we help our clients with and what we teach in Linked You? Are they using it to try and get a job? Are they using it to try and recruit people? Are they using it to try and get in front of potential investors? Whether it's angel investors, private equity firms, incubators, whatever it might be.
So let's
So
say
there's,
it's for sales. What would be the first thing to do if you wanted to make more sales on LinkedIn?
I think the first thing you want to do is look at your foundation. What do you currently have in place on LinkedIn, and is it really structured properly to help you achieve those goals? And there's a few key things that we help people with on that end, and one is getting really clear on who you're trying to reach. So develop a very clear prospect profile. The second thing would be using that prospect profile of who you're trying to target to structure your profile so that it really speaks to those people. See, most people's LinkedIn profiles are just these kind of vanilla, plain, little brochures that just kind of talk about what you've done in your life and kind of some of your experiences. You want to set it up as really like a landing page to get people to take some next step with your business. You want to be talking about your UVP or your USP. You want to be talking about the benefits your clients get when they work for you. You want to be talking about what kinds of companies you work with, and of course what you do for them. And then make sure you include a call to action in your summary section or anywhere in your profile, but make it prominent so that when somebody looks at your profile, they take that next step with you or your business. And that could be, the call to action could be, I'd love to connect with you here on LinkedIn. It could be send me an email or give me a call if I can help with something. It could be sign up for my webinar here, and you can include a link to it or a link to a white paper or something like that. So there's a lot of different ways to structure it, but you want to be thinking, when somebody looks at my profile, what's the next step I want them to take? And then the third thing that we always recommend to people is get in the right LinkedIn groups. Most people join groups that are full of their competitors because they join groups that are related to their subject matter expertise. But if you're using LinkedIn for sales, business development, and lead generation, those groups are not going to help you. You want to be in the groups your prospects can be found in.
How do you find those groups? Because there's like a trillion groups on Facebook or LinkedIn.
Over 2 million, yeah. So based on your prospect profile of who you're trying to target, you can go at it a couple ways. One way is you can just search for certain keywords. Like if you're going after, say you focus on the healthcare industry. Well, you can just go on LinkedIn and use the top nav search bar and search healthcare and filter it for just groups. And you'll see thousands of groups related to the healthcare industry. And then, do a little bit of exploring. You don't have to look through all of them to decide which ones to be a part of, but look for the ones that have a high concentration of good prospects for you. So you're looking for big numbers. And then you also want to look for the groups that look like they're not junk. Because if it's just full of spam and crap, then people have probably tuned them out. Yep. So that's something we recommend. Another way to go about it is just to go look for some prospects, use the advanced people search, find some people that look like the right kind of people you want to do business with, and see what kind of groups they're in.
Yeah.
And that can be a good indicator too.
Very cool. What about blogging on LinkedIn? That's something that I've been trying out recently, and it seems like in my experience, what happens is if you get picked up by the right promotion, like if you get tagged with the right thing and get promoted in the right category, a post can just go wild. What about blogging? Is LinkedIn a great place for blogging, or how would you approach it?
There's a lot of people these days that I see who are no longer even blogging on their own website, and they're moving all of that to LinkedIn because they are able to reach more people there. I don't really recommend that because I'm a believer in kind of owning your own media, and you just never know what's going to happen with LinkedIn. I mean, in the past, they've just killed certain parts of their website, and so if you invest too much there, it can backfire. But at a minimum, you can just take the content you're already producing and put it over on LinkedIn. And I mean, it's a tremendous content distribution network. And when you publish a post on LinkedIn, all of your connections get notified about it. All right. And, if you promote it the right way, you can get a lot of eyeballs on that content. So it's becoming a pretty powerful publishing platform. That's 3 Ps right there. I didn't even mean powerful publishing platform.
Nice. What would you say is kind of the biggest misconception that people have about LinkedIn, or the thing that they do that most people get wrong about it?
A lot of people have a bad taste in their mouth about LinkedIn, or a negative impression of it. And I think that comes from the fact that there's so many people using LinkedIn that are just like spamming people and just being really pitchy and salesy. And you connect with somebody, and then all of a sudden they're messaging you about how great their business is and all of their products and services and features and benefits, and can we set up a call to discuss how this might work for you? And you're like, dude, why'd I even connect with this person? Like, now they're just, putting me on blast. And the truth is that, and because we have, we're running campaigns, I have a team of account managers here in St. Louis, and we're running campaigns for clients every single day, all day long. That's what our account managers do. And that we know that stuff doesn't work. Well, somebody that's doing that kind of used car salesman spammy stuff, will they get a nibble every once in a while? Yeah, I mean, it's just like cold calling, right? You'll get through every once in a while, but it's not the most effective way to use LinkedIn, and it really gives people a bad name. I mean, the right way, and what we see is the most effective way to use LinkedIn is to take the time to first develop relationships with your prospects before you try and talk business. And it's just like if you go to a networking event, if you're that guy that goes to the networking event and, sticks your business card in somebody's face and starts telling them about your business and when can we meet and talk about it, no one's going to want to talk to you. Eventually you'll be standing in the corner by yourself because everyone's going to be running away from you, and it's the same on LinkedIn.
Yep. So what do people do? So a lot of people listening might not have even tried to use LinkedIn to develop a relationship with anybody before. So starting off cold, how would you approach developing a relationship through LinkedIn?
It's all about, that first touch point with a cold prospect that you find on LinkedIn is sometimes it just comes down to sending them a connection request, but including a personal message telling them why you want to connect. Find some common point of interest on their profile. Find something interesting about their company and ask them a question about it. Something like that. But just take a little bit of time to show them that you care. And we've seen somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 to 75% of people will then accept that connection request, even if they don't know you. And so then you're in the door. But that doesn't mean then, okay, the door's open, now I'm going to send them my sales pitch, because then they're going to be like, damn it, why did I connect to this person? They're doing this to me.
Yep. Yep.
And instead, you want to develop the rapport and develop the relationship and kind of nurture them along to really position yourself as one of the good guys or gals. And you can do that through, a number of different methods.
Do you have any advice for people trying to find a new job on LinkedIn?
Well, we don't. Full disclaimer, we don't help people with that. We're totally on the helping businesses grow and market using LinkedIn and generate leads, increase sales. But I think a lot of the same principles can apply in a job search. You want to position yourself as awesome at what you do.
Uh-huh.
All right, and then you want to be proactive about going out and getting in front of people. Reach out to people in HR, reach out to business owners, who target specific companies and reach out and tell them why you want to work there. There's a lot of different ways that you can go about it. I mean, you can use the same principles that we teach for business development and sales for getting a job. There's just no doubt about it. And just like, positioning yourself as a leader and an expert in your industry for business development purposes, if you can position yourself as an expert in your space, you're going to have a leg up on your competition in terms of getting a job too. But you got to make sure that the right people at that company are going to see your stuff.
Yep. Cool. What's the new book about? Connect. So what's in the book?
So Connect it's the playbook that my company has used to triple our revenue every year for the last 3 years, and
That's
that
awesome.
we've used for our private clients to generate millions of additional revenue for them. And it really started out of a frustration that I had when I was working for myself in 2010, just getting started, doing the freelance CFO thing. And like a lot of other, solopreneurs, when I first got started, I was doing the stuff everyone tells you to do, having a lot of coffees and lunches and networking events and all that. And I found most of that time to be unproductive because the people I was meeting with they weren't my prospects most of the time. And it just wasn't scalable. And I just found that the numbers didn't add up. But the relationship capital that you gain through those face-to-face meetings is pretty hard to replace. So what I figured out how to do was utilize LinkedIn to design a system that would allow me to connect with and position myself and my business as an authority in front of thousands of prospects in my market, and then to filter those prospects down to only the most high value important ones, and then work those people through a systematic messaging process or campaign that would culminate in a request for a meeting. And it's taken us a few years to really perfect this system, but now we're there. And what we see is that utilizing this approach, 29% of prospects that are worked through the process will agree to a phone call or a meeting with you or somebody on your sales team. Or you can use the same process to move them toward other things like webinars, free reports, lead magnets, and whatnot. And so, you know, it's been, I've been working on this book for 18 months. And never before have we so comprehensively just put our playbook out there. And I know it's going to make a big difference for a lot of businesses. And I'm super excited to finally be at a place where we can really get this out to the world. So I want to set up a special link, Lucas, just for your peeps, so that they can get a free copy of the book as well as access to a free LinkedIn course. It's normally $197, but if they get in on the pre-order for the book launch for Connect, then they'll get the course as well, and the physical real copy shipped to them. So I'll set up a link at theconnectbook.com/craftsman.
Perfect.
And that'll have all the information there. And just to be totally transparent, the way it works is if you pre-order it on Kindle for $4.99 and then send us your receipt, then we'll count you in to ship you the book on June 15th when it comes out, and we'll enroll you immediately in the course.
Well, I'm doing that for sure.
Awesome.
How many email, so you said it was like a process, and when we talked about the first step in the process is just say something that you connect with when you find somebody on their profile. How many messages is it before you get that 30% conversion rate? Is that like 7 messages or 3, or is it kind of dependent?
It depends. We have, almost every client we work with requires a unique approach depending on their market and their business and a lot of different factors and how things work in their industry, et cetera. But I would say generally speaking, we're looking at a 3 to 7 message campaign.
Cool.
And it takes a couple months before we're really going for phone calls in a lot of cases. Yeah.
Very cool. And what's in the course? So you said something about a LinkedIn course?
Yep. The course is called Your LinkedIn Marketing Master Plan. And it's a series of 12 lessons delivered 1 per day to really help people really put together a comprehensive plan for exactly what they're going to do to achieve their goals on LinkedIn.
Cool. That sounds really good. And when does the book launch and this free book promo go away?
June 15th.
June 15th.
Yeah.
Well, that's right around the corner, so people should hurry.
Yeah, and it's so because we're doing this so that we can really have a ton of sales in the first week so that we get on the bestseller list and just to get the book out to a lot of people. And so I think, though, that the offer, even though the book launches on June 15th, I think we're going to leave the free book and free course offer open until like June 22nd.
Okay.
So that's really the final deadline.
Still not too many days away, so definitely hop on it. Excellent. Do you have just one more hack or trick before we let you go?
Oh, man, there's so many. I would say that this is not a simple hack or trick, but it's probably the most powerful strategy for using LinkedIn to really set yourself apart from your competitors, and that is to create and run your own LinkedIn group that you are the owner and you are the manager of.
I've tried doing this, and it is a lot of work. So tell me tell me what I did wrong.
It can be, but it doesn't have to be, you know? So I would have to learn more about like what's all the work you were doing to do that. But
it seemed like pulling teeth to get people to engage.
Okay, yeah, it depends on the market.
Yeah.
It really does. It depends on the market. But here's the thing. For many of our clients, they don't look to the group as something that they even really care that much about, like how many comments are coming in on these posts and discussions. What they look to it as is it's a credibility thing that they get to tell people that they are the founder and the leader of this LinkedIn community that is really kind of leading their market, you know. And if it's positioned the right way, it opens doors, and people look at you in a different light, because instead of just being, oh boy, here comes another software development company that's going to try and sell me something. Well, instead, you can position yourself as the founder of the, you know, U.S. Manufacturing Executives Forum. And then when you approach executives that run manufacturing companies, they're much more open to that approach.
Makes
you know,
sense.
So it's kind of a psychological thing in a way too, that you can utilize that to, you know, leverage that credibility that comes along with it to get people to really open the door for you when they otherwise might not. You know, because people don't want to connect to somebody if they think they're going to be sold to. You know, so I'll throw in one more quick tip here, and it's related to that, and it's that, you know, if you're thinking about putting this in place for your business, and if you've got like a sales team, and we get this question a lot, you know, should I have my sales guys run this stuff or what? And typically we recommend no. You want to have your LinkedIn campaign run from somebody that's a bit of a higher up in the company, because if you're thinking about targeting senior executives, it works best when that approach comes peer to peer instead of like account executive trying to reach out to CEOs and they just see it coming. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
So that's something that we recommend to most people as well.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate your time. I'm excited to read the book, and thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me, man. It's been fun.
Thanks for listening to the Craftsman Founder Podcast with Lucas Carlson. If you like what you just heard, we hope you'll pass along our web address, craftsmanfounder.com, to your friends and colleagues. Be sure to check out our archive section on our website for previous podcasts. This has been a Craftsman Founder production. Join us next time for another edition of the Craftsman Founder Podcast.